I can't say I was anything but skeptical with the reveal of Monster Hunter Outlanders. It visually looked good, certainly, but a Monster Hunter with truly live service and gacha mechanics? To get even more general, a highly skill-based action game on a phone? No, thank you. But I have to admit, after playing it myself and speaking with Monster Hunter Outlanders development director Brian Lee, Monster Hunter Outlanders is carefully towing the line between the Monster Hunter and free-to-play live service game formulas. With about 15 hours into the closed beta test 2, I feel like I've only just scratched the surface of Monster Hunter Outlanders. And I'm having a hard time pulling myself away from digging to write these first impressions. Let's get the big questions and explanations out of the way. Monster Hunter Outlanders is developed by TiMi Studio Group and officially licensed by Capcom. TiMi, for its part, is no stranger to big IP adaptations and mobile-first titles. It developed Call of Duty Mobile and Pokémon Unite, my most played Switch game of 2025 coincidentally, as well as Arena of Valor to name a few. Monster Hunter Outlanders appears to be its most ambitious project yet, mashing Monster Hunter together with a free-to-play mobile model while also making it open world with meaningful exploration sounds like a tall order. But the setup is promising.
Wow! Look! We're here!
Lee said that a requirement to join the Monster Hunter Outlanders development team is to be a Monster Hunter fan, and many of the game designers have hundreds and hundreds of hours in the Monster Hunter series. These developers have focused heavily on the core combat experience to try and preserve the Monster Hunter feel on mobile. They even hired regular Monster Hunter series composer Tadayoshi Makino, so it sounds just like you'd expect a Monster Hunter would. In short, expect the core PvE action-forward Monster Hunter loop. Hunt a monster, craft new armor and weapons out of that monster's parts, hunt a stronger monster, repeat. Complete with quintessential Monster Hunter experiences like getting paralyzed by a Vespoid while carving, with many additional customization and growth systems to interact with and currencies to earn common to deep free-to-play RPGs. Add on more emphasis on open-world exploration, crafting, and progression systems that remind me a bit of Wild Hearts and Genshin Impact, and you've got Monster Hunter Outlanders. The most concerning aspect for TiMi was, indeed, properly balancing the feel of Monster Hunter while tailoring it towards the free-to-play mobile market, which they said has been very difficult for them to find a sweet spot and maintain that balance. Surprisingly, based on the feedback we collected from the previous CBT1, it seems that the players kind of acknowledge that balance point, Lee explained. It gives us quite a lot of confidence sticking to our current design. One of the biggest hallmarks of a free-to-play mobile game is, of course, the gacha monetization mechanics, which Monster Hunter Outlanders implements along with the exorbitantly abundant and dizzying progression systems, which are also present in ways likely very familiar to the free-to-play RPG crowd. The gacha part of Monster Hunter Outlanders is very new to the Monster Hunter series, though. Buddies and unique characters called adventurers, in addition to your self-made original character. You can play as these adventurers and add them to your party, if you want a party, that is. Besides the adventurers, Lee said other monetization will be about cosmetics and customizations, purely vanity items that have no effect on gameplay, like special weapon skins. I've opened a lot of boxes earned in-game that reward regular layered armor and weapon skins, so you can still do some fashion hunting without engaging in the premium currencies. The third type of monetization is about flexibility, allowing players to shape their journey in a way that best fits their gameplay style. I'm not totally sure what that means, but it may have to do with being able to purchase items for progression, like leveling up.
I'll protect everyone no matter what!
Lee said that they're trying to make Monster Hunter Outlanders as free as possible, and that non-spending players will be able to fully experience, participate in, and master 100% of the game's core content. Monetization wasn't on during the closed beta, but I can definitely see that, especially since you'll be able to pull for and earn SSR adventurers for free occasionally. But if you're trying to top one of the many speedrun leaderboards, you might not share that sentiment.
Come taste my blade!
Trying out each new adventurer I do get is super fun though, and you'll unlock at least 3 regular rarity adventurers for free as you play.
The Desert Twins said I'd have an amazing encounter today. Turns out they were right.
They provide another layer of gameplay variety that will keep a game fresh for even longer than Monster Hunter's very different 14 weapons already do. I really like the Lance, the newly available weapon in this closed beta test too. But I really liked Adventurer Varen's style of Lance even better, which is even more counter and parry focused than usual, but gives up the Lance's classic dash in exchange. If you couldn't tell by the way I'm describing the differences in combat between weapons and characters, Monster Hunter Outlanders combat mechanics are nuanced and combo-focused enough for these seemingly small changes to matter. I found a lot of my skills forged in core Monster Hunter games transferred to Outlanders, from weapon mechanic memory to monster movement reading, and it was much more satisfying than I expected. Outlanders isn't, however, a complete one-to-one to the combat in core Monster Hunter. The controls are a bit simplified, and things have been adapted to better suit mobile play, like the monster glowing red before an attack to telegraph it better on a small screen. You can turn this off and adjust a lot more in the settings, but my deteriorating eyesight welcomed it for the very perfect evade and counter-demanding version of combat in Outlanders as a bow, longsword, and lance user. There's no sword and shield for me just yet. You still need to read the monster well enough before that moment to make sure you're not in the middle of a combo when that telegraph pops up anyway. Additional mechanics have been implemented as well, for example to showcase the adventurers with unique ultimate attacks. I was worried that a co-op combat-heavy game reliant on fast reactions would work poorly on mobile, but most of the time it ran well enough to not affect gameplay on my iPhone 17 Pro on the most demanding ultra-graphics setting. It definitely didn't run as well as it would on a PC or console, but it's serviceable. The most trouble it had was while I fought a Kushala Daora, who's still an ass to fight by the way, because of the constant tornadoes, wind currents, lightning, and rain it had to render, along with 4 character models, our buddies, and the monster itself. Yeah, my phone struggled during this at times. And though my phone didn't usually get too hot while playing, my friend's iPhone 15 absolutely did. Of course, there's more to Monster Hunter Outlanders than gacha mechanics and combat. It begins much like any Monster Hunter would. You first customize your hunter, who's on their way with a crew to a new land to investigate some anomaly.
As you know, we're closing in on the waters where the Aurora was sighted.
Only in Outlanders, the crew and accompanying folks are much flashier. It's a lot of main character energy for one ship.
I am Bale, the village chief.
After some character introductions and combat tutorials, you find yourself in a village and continue with a lot more tutorials as you progress, just about every step of the way. Look, if you thought Monster Hunter was difficult to grasp, Outlanders has a whole other level of systems to wrap your head around. As someone with more than 2,000 hours in the Monster Hunter series and decent experience with gacha live service games, including one with pretty similar progression systems, it's still presented as convoluted at the start. I'm still far from fully understanding everything under the hood, since I haven't even unlocked everything yet, but it did start to click soon enough, and when it did, I couldn't put it down. I found myself falling down the Monster Hunter rabbit hole that is so appealing to me, trying new weapons and making new sets all to face a new threat. Monster Hunter Outlanders makes this endeavor much more streamlined compared to core Monster Hunter, which is welcome on mobile. From anywhere, once you unlock it, you can open the Forge menu, tap a material you need for a piece of equipment, and the game will tell you how to get it. It will even take you directly to the menu to start a free hunt for a monster whose materials you need, or to the melding menu if it's obtainable by exchanging other materials for it. But if you'd rather hunt monsters in the world, you can do that too. The only thing that held me up was the lack of equipment loadouts, a modern quality of life feature that is really needed if you intend to use the Fated Adventurer and more than one weapon type. Even during this mostly streamlined loop, I got happily distracted on the way, both in the open world and in the menus of activities. There's more to the map in Monster Hunter Outlanders than just serving primarily as a backdrop for a monster. There are watchtowers to discover and upgrade, minigames to play, chests to find, NPCs to help, endemic life to capture, and even exploration-specific skill trees to develop. You'll be crafting camps to create fast travel points and mobility equipment like ballista to help you get around faster and easier. Though it's not my main reason to play a game like this, it's easy and fun enough to engage in between quests. One time, I got a notification that the Dance Night Party event was about to begin, so I paused what I was doing to check it out. I had previously made a guild, and well, I couldn't join another in time to participate, so I rolled into my guild solo, not expecting much. I was still able to play the Fever Dance-Off and Taster's Trial minigames despite being alone, and earned a Dance Fever buff that lasted for 50 minutes, a temporary Midnight Dance Master title, and some items as a reward. It was fun, and would certainly be even more fun if I did it with friends. Finally, I have to admit, Monster Hunter Outlanders is the first action game I've really played on my phone ever. And even so, I picked up the controls quickly. That isn't to say I like playing with the touchscreen controller, but that's absolutely from my inexperience and hands that cramp up at the mere mention of the PSP. There were more than a few times that I wanted to keep playing Monster Hunter Outlanders, but I was so uncomfortable I had to put it down. And for anyone intimidated by the more nuanced combat controls of Monster Hunter, there's a simplified control format called Adventure that still feels interesting enough to play with only 3 buttons to worry about, but it felt kind of like cheating to me. For those used to playing action games on their phone, this likely won't be an issue for you. But for the rest of us, Lee ensured that controller support is absolutely coming. In fact, it's the most requested feature from the community. I thought maybe this meant Monster Hunter Outlanders might make it to consoles, or at least PC, but Lee said, at the moment, what I can tell you is that Monster Hunter Outlanders is a mobile game only. This is disappointing for me because while I can see this being very fun with a guild, convincing enough friends to play consistently on mobile isn't going to happen. Even though the open world isn't explorable in multiplayer, the large variety of guild challenges, co-op hunts, and arena challenges seem really fun. I had a great time with my longest hunting partner of nearly 20 years on a few hunts, but we still need to figure out all the multiplayer systems to get the most out of it. I'm looking forward to challenges that require thoughtful team comp, and to learn the different adventurer roles outside of classic Assault, Disruptor, and Support. I actually enjoyed the sort of forced class roles in Monster Hunter World's Behemoth Hunt. I rocked a wide-range Wiggler build, and it's cool to see those kind of actualized in Monster Hunter Outlanders. I can't say how well it works just yet, but the idea is promising. I've had a lot of fun with Monster Hunter Outlanders and flowed pretty naturally between all of the styles of play it has to offer: story, exploration, events, and co-op. If you like Monster Hunter or free-to-play action RPGs, Monster Hunter Outlanders is worth a shot. But if you categorically hate either genre, the lure of the other might not be enough for you. Monster Hunter Outlanders will take some effort to learn. A lot of things are hidden in really weird spots and menus, and though there are a lot of how-tos, there isn't always a good explanation of the why. But I find the things I need to put effort into to be the most rewarding, which is absolutely the case with Monster Hunter in general. Playing with a community of hunters who've learned the ropes might be the best way to take a step into Monster Hunter Outlanders, and I can't imagine an experience being more Monster Hunter than that. For more of my thoughts on Monster Hunter Outlanders monetization, read my full preview on IGN.com. For more previews of the biggest upcoming games, don't miss our recent hands-on looks at 007 First Lights and LEGO Batman Legacy of the Dark Knights. And for everything else in the world of gaming, stick with IGN.
What's with all this light? Something's absorbing the particles of light.